Imagine standing at a grocery store checkout with a full cart, your weekly food, maybe a few things you've been waiting to buy. You've been on your feet all day. You are tired in the way that people who work hard and don't complain about it are tired. You hand the cashier your card, and it declines. Not because you're irresponsible, not because you forgot, but because the world has handed you one of those months. The kind of month where the heating bill and the car repair and the pharmacy copay all arrived at the same time, and your bank account simply ran out of runway 3 days before it was supposed to. You are 71 years old. You are standing in a line of people. The cashier is looking at you. You don't know what to do with your hands. Now, what if I told you that what happened in the next 60 seconds would change everything? Not just for you, for Donna Reeves, for everyone in that store, and for a community that had forgotten just for a moment how much it needed to believe in something good. Stay right here, because this is one of those stories. Clarksville, Tennessee is a city of about 170,000 people sitting on the northern edge of the state, close enough to Nashville to hear its music on a clear night, but far enough to have kept its own character. It is a military town, home to Fort Campbell, which means it is a town built on service, sacrifice, and the kind of community loyalty that forms when people know they might be leaving next year and want to love where they are while they still can. The county market on Wilma Rudolph Boulevard had been there for over 20 years. It was not a fancy store. It was a working grocery store where people bought what they needed, and the staff knew a surprising number of them by name. Donna Reeves had worked checkout lane 4 at County Market for 19 years. She was 58 years old, 5'3", with reading glasses she kept on a beaded chain around her neck, and a voice that was permanently warm without being fake about it. She had started the job when her youngest was in middle school, and it simply never left because the hours worked and the manager was decent and she genuinely liked people. That last part matters. Donna genuinely liked people. Not in the way that people say they like people when they mean they tolerate them. Donna was actually curious about the human beings who came through her lane. She noticed things. She noticed when the same man started buying different things after his wife stopped coming in with him. She noticed when a young mother looked exhausted and she would say something small and specific, not generic, something that showed she had been paying attention. 19 years of paying attention. That is what Donna Reeves had brought to work on that Thursday afternoon in February. Patricia Ann Holloway was 71 years old and had been a widow for 8 months when she walked into County Market that afternoon. Her husband, Gerald, had died the previous June, quietly and without drama, the same way he had done most things in life. They had been married for 44 years. Patricia had worked part-time at an assisted living facility on the east side of Clarksville for the past 6 years, helping with activities for the residents, which she loved more than she had expected to when she started. She had a gift for being with elderly people. She had patience. She had a way of sitting with someone in their silence that made them feel less alone. Since Gerald died, Patricia had been managing on her Social Security check and her part-time income. It was tight. She was not poor in the way that made the news. She was poor in the quiet American way, the way that millions of women her age are poor, where you have a car and a small apartment and clean clothes and nobody can see it from the outside, but inside you were doing math every single week that you would rather not be doing. This particular February had been an especially hard month. The heating bill for her apartment had come in higher than expected due to a cold snap that had settled over Tennessee for 2 weeks. Her car had needed a repair she could not delay, and her pharmacy copay for her blood pressure medication had gone up without warning. She had done the math the night before. She had $47.82 in her checking account until her next paycheck in 6 days. She had planned her grocery list carefully. She had stood in her kitchen with a notepad and worked out what she needed and what she could skip and what she absolutely could not go without. She had driven 40 minutes because County Market had better prices than the store closer to her apartment. Patricia was not someone who asked for help. She had been raised not to. There was a generation of American women who came up believing that asking for help was a kind of failure, and Patricia was squarely in the middle of that generation. She had never in her life let her card decline at a register. When it happened, she felt the blood leave her face.
Donna Reeves had seen a card decline before. She had seen it hundreds of times. She knew the particular way a person's body changed when it happened. The small flinch, the hands going still, the way the eyes went somewhere internal, calculating, trying not to show panic. Patricia's hand had gone to her mouth. Donna looked at the total on her screen, $63.41. She looked at Patricia. She saw a woman who was trying very hard not to cry in a grocery store. She saw the neat coat, the careful hair, the posture of someone who had always held themselves with dignity and was currently fighting to keep holding it. She saw someone who had done nothing wrong and was being handed a public humiliation by a random combination of circumstances that could happen to anyone. Donna did not pause to think about it. She did not calculate or deliberate. She had 19 years of practice at reading people quickly and responding from instinct, and her instinct was clear. She reached under the counter and picked up her own purse. She opened it. She pulled out 3 $20 bills that she had withdrawn for her own groceries that week. She placed them on the counter in front of the register. "My system glitched," Donna said. She said it matter-of-factly, the way you say something that is simply true. "Happens sometimes on cold days. Let me just run these through for you." Patricia stared at her. "I'm sorry?" "Your total's covered, sweetheart," Donna said. She was already processing the transaction. Her voice was warm and absolutely normal, as if this were something that happened regularly, as if there were nothing remarkable occurring. "You have a good evening now." Patricia could not speak for a moment. The people in line behind her had gone quiet. A man in a Carhartt jacket was watching Donna with an expression that he probably did not realize was on his face. "I can't let you do that," Patricia finally said. Her voice had gone unsteady. "I don't even know you." Donna looked up at her. She held her gaze for just a moment with those steady, warm eyes. "Honey, that's kind of the whole point." The man in the Carhartt jacket behind Patricia was named Dale Hutchins. He was 64 years old, a retired Army sergeant from Fort Campbell, and he had seen a lot of things in his life that had taught him something about what it looked like when a person did the right thing without making a production of it. He watched Donna cover Patricia's groceries, and then he did something. He stepped forward. He put $30 on the counter in front of Donna's register. "For whoever needs it next," he said simply. Donna looked at him. He nodded once. She nodded back. A young woman in her 20s was standing 3 people back in the line. She had been watching the whole thing on her phone while pretending to scroll. She put her phone in her pocket. She opened her wallet. By the time Patricia had gathered her grocery bags and walked, still trembling slightly, to the automatic doors, 5 people in line had contributed to what Donna would later call the most disorganized, least planned, most moving thing she had ever seen happen in Lane 4. $112 sat on Donna's counter, from people who did not know each other, from people who would drive home separately and probably never see each other again, from people who had each decided in their own moment that they wanted to be part of what Donna had started. The store manager, a 40-year-old man named Kevin who had worked his way up from stockboy, stood watching from near the customer service desk. He had been a manager for 11 years. He had never seen this happen. He walked over to Donna after Patricia left. "You know you didn't have to do that," he said. Donna tucked the remaining money into an envelope that she would later donate to the store's community food bank fund. She straightened her apron. "I know that," she said. "Have a good shift, Kevin." Here is the part of the story that Donna did not know until 6 weeks later. Patricia Holloway worked at Sunrise Gardens Assisted Living. She had worked there for 6 years, helping residents with their afternoon activities: bingo on Tuesdays, the garden club on Thursdays, the movie nights on Fridays that she always stayed late for because she knew the residents looked forward to them. In the weeks after the grocery store, Patricia had told the story to the residents she worked with. She told it in the quiet, careful way she did things without dramatizing it. She told it the way she would tell a story to a friend.
One of those residents was a 79-year-old woman named Miriam Chen, who had been a journalist before her retirement. Miriam still wrote, not for publication, just for herself, in a journal she kept on her nightstand. She was sharp and observant and deeply interested in what made people good. Miriam wrote the story down. She sent it in a letter to her daughter in Nashville. Her daughter worked in local media. She shared it. It reached the Clarksville Leaf Chronicle within 2 weeks. Donna Reeves found out her story had been published when her daughter called her on a Tuesday morning and said, "Mom, you're on the internet." What Donna found when she finally looked was that people in 47 states had shared the story. She found comments from people saying they had gone to their local grocery stores and paid for a stranger's groceries because of what she had done. She found a note from a woman in Oregon who said she had been planning to give up on people and this story had changed her mind. Donna had not done it for any of that. She had done it because a woman needed $63.41 and Donna Reeves happened to have it. But here is the part that mattered most. Patricia Holloway had gone back to County Market the following week. She had waited until Donna's lane was free. She had placed $64 on the counter, $1 more than her total, and she had said, "The extra dollar is for the next person." And then she had slid across a handwritten note. The note said, "You called it a system glitch. I know it wasn't. You gave me back something that month had taken from me. You gave me back my dignity. I will spend the rest of my life trying to pass that on to somebody else." Donna had read the note at the end of her shift. She had folded it very carefully. She had kept it. It was still in her purse 4 years later, on the beaded chain next to her reading glasses. The county market on Wilma Rudolph Boulevard started something that February that Kevin, the manager, decided to make official. He created a program called the Lane 4 Fund, a small box at the customer service desk where anyone could leave money, and anyone, any cashier, any manager, any employee, could draw from it to cover a customer's groceries when needed. No questions asked, no paperwork, just a quiet decision made in a moment of need. In the first year, the Lane 4 Fund covered groceries for 31 people. County Market did not advertise the program. They did not put it on social media. It was simply a box on a counter and an understanding among the people who worked there. Donna Reeves was not the manager of the fund. She did not attend any ceremony about it. She went to work in Lane 4 on her regular schedule and continued to notice things about the people who came through and to respond to those things in the way she always had. Patricia Holloway still works at Sunrise Gardens. She is 75 years old now and has no plans to stop. The residents of the Thursday Garden Club have been keeping a list, which they update every few weeks, of all the small things they have done for strangers since they first heard Patricia's story. The list has 94 items on it. Most of them are small: a paid parking meter, a door held open in the rain, a grocery bag carried for someone who couldn't quite manage it. A few of them are not small at all. They call the list the Donna list. Donna doesn't know it exists.
There is a moment in every grocery store, every day, in every city in this country, where someone behind a counter has a choice. It is a small choice. It costs money they probably could use themselves. It takes 30 seconds they could spend on the next customer in line. Most of the time, nothing remarkable happens. The moment passes. The next customer steps forward. Life continues as it always does. But sometimes a Donna Reeves looks at a Patricia Holloway and decides that the most important thing happening in the world right now, in this exact moment, is this woman's dignity. And when that happens, when one person makes that choice, the ripple goes further than any of them will ever fully know. It goes to Miriam Chen's journal and her daughter in Nashville and 47 states. It goes to a box on a counter in Clarksville that has fed 31 families. It goes to a list in an assisted living facility that is now 94 items long and still growing. It goes to you right now, sitting wherever you are, watching this. Think about the last time a stranger was kind to you. Not the big, dramatic kind. The small, unremarkable, utterly human kind. The person who waved you into traffic. The neighbor who brought your package to your door. The waitress who refilled your coffee without being asked and asked how your day was going like she actually wanted to know. That is the story of America that does not trend. That is the story that does not make the news. That is the story I am here to tell you every single week. If this story reminded you of someone who has been a Donna in your life, go tell them today, not tomorrow. Right now, after this video, send them a message and say, I thought of you. And if you want more stories like this one, stories of ordinary Americans doing extraordinary things for complete strangers, subscribe to Story Tales and hit the bell. I have a new story ready for you every single week. Take care of each other, every time you can, in the small ways especially. That's where the real America lives.